Students gathered in Gordon's dining hall in protest of a mandatory meal plan that was announced back in December.
People have been furious about this ever since it hit the news. You know, we were worried that over winter break that energy would go down, and the purpose of the protest was really to reignite and reinvigorate the movement.
Rena Newman, a junior at UW, co-authored a petition shortly after the policy was first announced. It claims the mandatory meal plans are devastating to low-income students and unfair to those with special dietary restrictions. By now, over 3,500 students and alumni have signed the petition condemning the changes.
There are students who wrote in their petition signing that had this policy existed, they wouldn't be able to go to school here, or they wouldn't be able to live in the residence halls.
Starting next fall, students living in the dorms are required to choose one of three meal plans. The cheapest plan is $1,400 for an academic year.
We really wanted to create a program that would kind of fit different students' needs, and they could make that choice based upon their needs while still having as much flexibility as we could.
Peter Testori, Director of Dining and Culinary Services, said students wanted to get a better understanding of food costs at the UW.
So the initial motivation came from calls from parents and students asking questions about the amount of money that their students have spent, and us needing to be able to provide a better path for the students and their families as far as budgeting for the academic year.
Meal plans range from 9 to 20 meals a week, depending on which tier is chosen. Students will be able to pay for the plan on a quarterly basis, but even with smaller payments, low-income students may not be able to afford the plans.
This $1,400 minimum immediately impacts low-income students. It makes it incredibly difficult for low-income students to pay one more bill on top of so many, and now they don't even get to choose where they're going to be able to eat. That $1,400, because it's a mandatory minimum, is one more loan that they might have to take out, is one more bill that they might not be able to meet.
University Housing and Dining say meal plans can be covered by financial aid to help students pay for food over the academic year.
The cost of the meal plan is able to be rolled into your financial aid that will be billed quarterly with your housing bill. And one of the great things about this is that we're going to load the food account up front. So if you're a student that's waiting on financial aid to come through, we're not going to withhold any funds until that financial aid comes through. So
I didn't have. Who had $1,400 on their wrist card at one time?
Students are concerned that the minimum plan will be too expensive for some.
So it was a baseline based on an average of 9 meals per week, which gives students the flexibility while still providing a path for healthy eating habits. The number of meals required by Big Ten and other UW systems was also evaluated for this process, so we took their meal plans into consideration.
Other universities have all-you-can-eat meal plans that allow students to eat whatever they want during meals. UW will continue to have an a la carte menu under the new policy, but will require money to be put on a wish card to buy food.
One of the things that we're very proud of as a division is that even with this new plan, we are still the lowest rent and food costs combined within the Big Ten, and we still provide the most flexibility for the students to dine with us.
Some say that comparing schools is not enough.
There are students on those campuses who suffer every day because of those policies. That's not a reason why it's okay for UW to make its own students suffer. And the reasoning that we're just becoming more in line with the policy of other Big Ten schools is in no ways a conclusive enough reason.
Students are also worried about how the new dining policy will affect students with limits on what they eat.
Dietary restrictions we take very seriously within dining. Students that have concerns about eating in the dining facilities due to religious or dietary restrictions, we're going to have a process in place. They can reach out, meet with our dietitian. Our dietitian will learn about what their restrictions are, what kind of accommodations we'll need to make.
The dining hall doesn't have a tremendous selection of things. And if you have eating guidelines, eating in the dining hall is a disaster. You're paying $1,400 for food that you can't eat. Same goes for students with religious dietary restrictions, including codes of kashrut, keeping kosher and halal. Myself as a Jewish student, I'm very concerned with that for my community.
After the initial rollout, the university has decided to make this a pilot program and reassess the policy after 2 years.
There are a lot of students behind this from a lot of different identities and a lot of different groups, and they need to be listened.
I can't eat.